see the difference. So now, this is tough. Yo, what up, guys? Nice to see you guys there. I think I'm just gonna give it a couple of seconds. Let me just take off my mask because I'm by myself. Yeah, let's just do this. I just want to make sure that I can see all of your guys' comments from my device. So let me just go in there and make sure that I can see everything that's going on. See you guys there. There we go. Welcome, guys. Welcome there, guys. Welcome there. I see you guys there in the building. There's something on the screen. Let me go and see what's there on the screen. Hey guys, hopefully we sorted out everything there. Hopefully you guys can see nice and clearly. Just wanted to make sure that you guys are all up to date there on your guys' side, so that when I do start, we all 100% there. Okay, there we go. I think the sound is perfect. Everything seems to be perfect. Let's do the things to be done, guys. Let's do the things to be done. So what we'll be doing is we'll be starting off with some analysis, I guess. We'll probably go straight into the most important pairs that I've got here. So I'm looking to long AUDJPY. I'm looking to buy AU. I'm looking to buy SUSIEN, New Zealand dollar CAD as well. So we're basically just going to go through those pairs, just see what we have in those pairs. But at the same time, guys, I'm going to be following up with what I have here on your guys' side, what I see here happening in the chat, just so that we always up to date with each other. And that's kind of the benefit of us having a live. The point of why we're having a live instead of us having a YouTube video and an upload or whatever the case is just so that we can have this physical interaction as well, so that we all, I guess, are just on par. You guys also get to ask questions as we're moving through, so that we make the session as valuable as possible and kind of deal with more so what you guys need rather than what we think you guys need. So I will be following up there with the chats, just making sure. I see Kutlano's asking for Aussie CAD. That's my pair, man. That's my pair. Kutlano, what's good there? Aussie CAD thoughts. Okay, cool. So I don't think I'll be trading Aussie CAD today, but maybe we'll just get into Aussie CAD just to speak about it, because Aussie CAD, I always do follow it, even if I'm not trading Aussie CAD for the day. I'm always looking at Aussie CAD because Aussie CAD is that one pair that I feel like I'm very comfortable with. So definitely I'll share those thoughts there. I see Sisha saying, good to see you, bro. Hoping to see some gold analysis. Unfortunately, I don't have gold on my watch list. There won't be any gold analysis. I see Fortune there saying, what's up, guys? Watching from Zambia there. Much love from Busili. Nice to meet you there. I see Bafana Radeva is giving us some shout outs there. Steve is also asking, hi, thoughts on NASDAQ. I don't trade NASDAQ, so I don't have it on my watch list. See, Simon's also saying good morning there, wishing everyone a successful trading week and month. Definitely, I second you there, Simon. I wish everyone else a nice, successful trading week, and as well as when the new month does start, guys, enjoy the new month. Enjoy the new month. I see you, Jay, there as well. I do not trade USD JPY, but you can, I guess, just take a hint from the two JPY quote pairs that I do have, and then obviously you just do your own correlation between these pairs that I have here, JPY quote pairs, and then as well as USD JPY. I see there NASDAQ 100 and US 30. I do have US 30 on my watch list, not looking for anything today, but I guess maybe if you guys request it and it's on my watch list, we can have a quick chat about it. And I see there, can we see CAD JPY? So then again, with CAD yen, just take some correlation from my other pairs there, and then I guess you can kind of come up with something there for yourself. Let me just put my volume down because something is playing in my ears and it's quite loud. But nonetheless, let's just go into our analysis. Let's get into the analysis there. CAD yen was the last question there. Okay, cool, guys. So let's just start off with some Aussie CAD and maybe just discuss a little bit about Aussie CAD, see what we've got going on here. So Aussie CAD, guys, basically we've got this larger time frame expanding structure over here. So we're on a daily chart on Aussie CAD, and what we can see basically on Aussie CAD is we've got this expanding structure, this descending expanding structure that we've got from a daily perspective. So let's just mark that out. So basically we're just paying attention to nature's theory on a daily. Guys, just a tip for you guys that when you guys are looking at your guys' time frames, if you guys can see the individual candlesticks on your chart, then yes, you indeed are looking at the daily chart. But if you guys have your chart scrolled out to the point where you can't see the individual candlesticks on your chart, then it's just as good as looking at weekly structure, because if we went up to the weekly structure, if you guys keep that picture in your head, and we expanded the weekly structure to the point where we could see the individual candlesticks, you guys can see that the daily looks just like the weekly, but obviously crunched up. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be looking at daily structure. So daily structure for us would just entail the candlesticks that we can see, the clear candlesticks that we can see on the chart. So basically we've got this nice expanding descending structure over here, the resistance trend line drawn out. We've got a nice support structure over here. And you guys can see that we've come close to our third touch, but not quite yet to that third touch of structure. There we go. We've marked out this nice expanding structure, larger time frame expanding structure. Now, obviously, what we're paying attention to is how is price coming down towards the support structure over here, and I guess what price will do at the support structure. So if we just take a look now and drop down onto the 4 hour, just observe a little bit of some nature's theory. Once again, on our 4 hour, what we've got is some sort of an expanding structure once again. How do we know that this is some sort of a corrective structure? We've watched prices create lower structures in this area over here. We've broken below those lower structures and we've broken back above. So indicating to us that yes, prices are making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, consistently lower lows and lower highs, but we're doing so in a corrective manner. Why? Because we've already seen prices action being corrective around a support level of structure. So simple enough, guys, what we're waiting for is we're either waiting for risk entries below our support structure over there for those buying opportunities because of the higher time frame structure. Obviously, that's giving us reasons to buy, or we wait for reduced risk entries. Once prices break back above our structure, we wait for our reduced risk entries to come and retest our previous level of structure. So that's kind of why Aussie CAD isn't on my watch list today. It's just simply because I can see that Aussie CAD is quite far from giving me some sort of a structure that will give me a reason to buy. And as well as if I look here on a smaller time frame like the 1 hour in this area here, do I see a clear reversal structure as yet? No, I do not. I do not see any type of structure that looks like a double bottom. I don't see any structure that looks like an inverse head and shoulders. But yes, we do have the potential to, at a later stage in time, create some sort of an inverse head and shoulders structure, because we will have our support structures over here. Obviously, resistance, we'll have new supports. So obviously, once prices break back above the structure, come and terminate, we'll have the reasons to obviously look for that inverse head and shoulders and expect our right shoulder to form at this previous level of structure that prices have broken below and broken back above. So that's kind of why Aussie CAD isn't on my watch list for the day. As much as I would love her to be on my watch list, she isn't really at a higher time frame point of interest in an area where I would find those trading probabilities. So what I'm going to do for myself is just going to exercise patience on Aussie CAD. Yes, I have a bullish bias, but my point, or rather price, is far from my point of interest. We did not tap into this support structure over here. We did not cover, or we aren't at or close to this resistance area over there. So where prices are, we're slap bang in the middle of important key areas. So if we trade there, we'll get probabilities of being in the center of an important level of structure. So that's kind of why that pair isn't on my watch list. Let's see there what's happening in the chat. So we're done with Aussie CAD. We'll move on to the next pair. I see Kutlana's asking for New Zealand dollar yen. So we definitely will, or we might look at New Zealand dollar yen. It's not on the high priority watch list for today, but I do have a slight bias on this pair. So we will maybe talk about it. I see there Christopher saying, hi guys, watching from Congo. Nice to have you there in the building, Mr. Christopher. Awesome to have you there. I see Camila is also saying, what do you think of NFTs? So I think of NFTs the same thing that I think of anything that involves you investing in it. I feel like money is made from investments when you are investing in something that you fully understand. If you're investing in something that you halfly understand or partially understand or whatever, then you won't get the results that everyone else is going to be making a lot of noise about. Same thing like trading Forex. I'm sure you know a lot of people that are making noise about it, but obviously it comes down to how competent you are in what you're trading. And if you're competent enough to pull money out of the markets at that stage in time, you will make money. Same thing with an NFT. You can buy something that could potentially be worthless. You could buy something that could potentially be worth your investment time and your investment cash. And obviously in that case, you'll make money. In the first case, you lose money. So it ultimately still boils down to your circle of competence. What are you most competent at? And then obviously that's where you put your money in, something that you're competent at, something that you understand, I guess, better than most of the people that are investing in whatever you're investing in. I see there also Tep was asking for AUDUSD. We'll definitely go through AU on the watch list for the day. I see Tep was also saying I'm at work, but tuned in. Shout out to Forex Chasers, man. It's nice to see that level of dedication there. As much as you're at work, as much as you're grinding, doing something else, it's nice to see you take out a couple of seconds of your day to kind of just watch and prepare yourself, dude. I admire something like that, and shout out to you as well, man. Shout out to you. I see Kabili is saying thanks there. Thanks, bro. No stress, no stress, no stress there. We'll get into the next pair, guys, and that's AJ. So for AJ, let's just go up to the daily. So what we can already see about AJ is that AJ already is in an impulsive phase when we are on that 4 hour. But nonetheless, let's just look at what we have higher time frame. So on a higher time frame, guys, we've got some momentum here, most recent momentum pushing to the upside, violating some levels of structure there, some levels of structure there, some levels of structure there, some levels of structure there. So we see this momentum to the upside kind of violating a couple of swing highs over there. And after we've seen this momentum obviously pushing to the upside, what we see is price taking a lot longer to make its way down than we did see price take its way to make its movement to the upside. So obviously momentum is to the upside in this most recent piece of price action that we can see here on a daily. And for that reasons, we'll have a bullish directional bias. Now, when we drop down onto the 4 hour, let's just observe some nature in the price action. What we can see is that we've got, obviously, prices entered this ascending structure over here, this expanding ascending structure. We had a bearish bias. Prices ended up entering this descending structure, whatever the case is, allowing us to conclude that this is one piece of price action because this corrective structure wasn't a corrective structure and then turned into a next impulsive move, but it went from corrective structure to another corrective structure, obviously allowing us to just combine these things and use it as one piece of price action. So what we're going to do is we'll see where did this corrective structure that we isolated first start. It started from this support structure over here. So that means we've got a nice important key support here. Where's the next low to have been formed after this low has been broken? Next low to have been formed is this new lower low down there. And then obviously we have a new lower low down there. So allowing us to then obviously isolate our support trend line over there, taking into account the extreme resistance. We've got this high over here. We've got this high over here. So that's our extreme resistance. We've got a nice resistance trend line. So now we've got a nice, beautiful structure that we can work off, that we can see prices did come down, give us that touch, and then we're seeing some beautiful momentum pushing to the upside. Now, obviously, what we've got here is some corrective price action because we see prices creating that support structure, breaking below that support structure, breaking back above. So we obviously can see that price is being corrected around these key support structures over there. So what we then do is we'll drop a little bit further onto our 1 hour time frame just because We can, just because we can, but basically just because we want to trade. And I want to also tell you guys what my idea for a trade setup or some sort of an entry would be. So I've got my higher time frame support structures down in this area here. I've also got some 1 hour support structures in this area here. Like I told you guys, price is in an impulsive phase, giving that momentum to the upside. So obviously we don't want, once the momentum is in the market, guys, once the momentum is in the market, I'm not looking to trade, because the way that I trade is I'm looking for corrective structures to allow me to enter the market so that I can be in by the time the next momentum decides to kick into the market. So already I know that if price is in an impulsive phase, that is not the condition or not the environment conditions that I'm looking to trade. So automatically I'm sitting on my hands when price is already moving. So what I want to wait to see is I want to wait to see prices giving me some sort of a corrective structure. Where are my points of interest? My points of interest are at these key support structures over here. So obviously point of interest number one is this previous support structure there that prices have broken below. What we have is a nice bias for a nice inverse head and shoulders to form, because we have our support structure, prices breaking below. We're back to the neckline, previous resistance where we saw sellers coming into the market from. So obviously if we do see prices correcting into this level of structure over here, guys, we will have the potential for a nice 1 hour inverse head and shoulders, and obviously for that nice bullish bias for us to find a trading opportunity. And if prices don't react from this key support area over here from a 1 hourly perspective, then all we have to do is wait for price action to come a little bit deeper and pull into this support structure down low, which is this higher time frame support that prices have broken below, broken back above. And then obviously we'll have our corrective structure to confirm our bias. We'll also have a nice point of interest, a nice value area where we'll be looking for that momentum to the upside. So basically, guys, on AJ, we've got some beautiful bullish bias. Obviously, we've explained our reasons, top-down analysis. We've explained all the reasons why we're looking for this bullish bias, what's required of us at this point, and what will always be required of us after we make a forecast is for us to wait and be reactive to the price action. We need to understand that, first of all, we're not looking, as much as we have a bullish bias, we have points of interest where we will be looking to execute this trade. So as long as price is not in our point of interest, which is obviously this first key area and the second key area here, as long as price action is not at a point of interest, there is no point in us dropping down onto those lower time frames. What does that help us with? That helps us avoid FOMO and all those other emotional, psychological things that we always feel like we're dealing with. Having a plan, and obviously now then exercising the discipline to stick to that plan, already cuts out a lot of the psychological issues that we deal with on a daily. Like I always tell people, that psychology is not your problem. Your problem is that you don't have a plan that helps you react to the market when the market gives you a scenario. That's why you deal with those things of closing your trades too early, closing your trade, holding on to losses, all those things, because when the market gives you a certain scenario, you didn't have a plan beforehand to say that when the market puts me in a drawdown for 6 hours, I'm going to close out my position. Because you don't have a plan like that, that is what the cause of you holding on to those positions, waiting for prices to come back in your direction, or whatever other psychological issues is. Those psychological issues are basically just the effects of something underlying, and that underlying issue is you basically not having a trading plan. So otherwise, guys, you know me, I like to stress these things about these trading plans and all of those stuff, because I genuinely do feel like that is the turning point for a lot of traders. That was a turning point for me. Things that people have been telling me to do all the time, risk management, blah, 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 trading plan, journal. Those are the things that actually changed my trading when I actually started doing them. When I stopped thinking that, oh, geez, I'm so smart, I can keep my trades head, I don't need to journal. Oh geez, I'm so smart, I know my trading plan in my head, I don't need to write it down. Once I got over that level of ego, that thing of thinking that, okay, cool, I'm this person, I'm that person, once I got over that, that's when I actually started seeing my trading change. I had to do something different to see different results, because the results, the way that I was doing things previously, obviously it wasn't working. I was not seeing the results to show me that me keeping my strategy in my head, me journaling in my head is working. It wasn't working because the results were showing me. So obviously I needed to change something. So as well for you guys, maybe this is just a tip, maybe it's relevant for someone out there, but guys, go and do the things that everyone is telling you to do, because those are the things that are necessary for change. Nonetheless, let's move on from AJ. We had a nice bullish directional bias here on AJ. Let's go on to some AU. Let's just make sure that all the chats and everything is answered. We'll start off on the daily. So let me just make sure that here things are cool. What do you think of NFTs? Okay, AU, I think I read those. Let's look at gold. We're not going to have a look at gold, man. We're not going to have a look at gold today. Gold is not on my watch list. I see Tlotlo saying there, let's, oh, that was you. Let's look at gold. Brijan Patel is saying CAD yen. So we look at Swiss yen, and then obviously you can just tie in your correlation. Both of these pairs have some sort of positive correlation. So you can just tie in your correlation there, and then obviously observe your structure, how similar or how different your structure on CAD yen is to Swiss yen. And then obviously you make a bias according to that. I see there, what are your thoughts on GU? So I don't look at GU. I don't have any thoughts. I haven't looked at GU in the past. I don't know how long. Greetings, my brother. What do you use to check the economic news? So I basically just use investing.com. And the point of me using news is not for me to make a decision based off news. I mean, a trading decision, but it's more so for me to make a management decision on. If I have a trade open, I probably don't want to be involved when the news is going to change that I'm currently trading, because obviously news can be a catalyst to change the way the markets are moving. And for example, if maybe I don't want to, or I can't, or maybe price is still around my entry, or whatever the case is, I'd rather be out of that market because I know that the environment will change. So basically investing.com, and the point of me looking there is just to see how I can better trade or better improve the statistics that I'm going to, because I'm a technical based trader. So I just want to know when there's news so that I stay out of the news, so that I don't enter trades just before news or just after news or whatever the case is. Yeah, sure, bro. You're literally talking to me. I thought I had it all in my head till I started writing everything down, and now I see the results. Definitely, man. It gives you an opportunity to think about your process outside of you actually executing your process. Like, a lot of people are trying to change their process while they're executing, and that doesn't work because you lose track of things that you've changed, all of that nice stuff. But what you do is you write down your current processes and you change your current processes when you are not trying to trade those processes. You don't change your things saying that, oh, yesterday I took a stop loss because I had a 5 pip stop. Today I'm going to use a 10 pip stop. That's not how you change your trading process. Your trading processes should be changed over you observing a couple of things or a couple of scenarios where this happened or this didn't happen, and then you change based off that. And the only thing that's going to help you observe a couple of scenarios is if you journal, because you might think that, oh, I got stopped out 20 times or 10 times, but you might not realize that, oh, I took 1,000 trades and I only got stopped out 20 times with a 5 pip stop loss, which means that it's okay. It's just part of your statistics. But if you're obviously changing too early, you have a small sample size. And if you keep on making a decision based off a small sample size, you'll never get to something solid, because you need a large sample size to show you what's the overall data. Like, I can take 10 trades and lose 5 and win 5. Does that mean I have a 50% win rate? No, it doesn't. Because when I take 100 trades, I might find out that those 5 trades that I lost were the only 5 trades that my strategy would lose. And now my win rate moved from 50% to 95%. You see that the sample size that you are trading obviously affects how you observe and how you see the data. The data is more relevant over a larger sample size. And the only way you can get that large sample size is by taking your time to trade your system. You journal your system down and you make a change based off the results that you see from your journaled data, not from the data that you're keeping inside of your head. Because you as a human being have the tendency to exaggerate a loss and underplay a win. You can lose $10 and you can win $10, but I can guarantee you the loss of $10 will affect you a lot more than the win of $10. And that's just because we are human beings and that's the way that our bodies function. So you might highlight and place an importance on these negative trades and this and that and that and that, when that's actually not the problem of your system. You might take your profitable system and make it an unprofitable system because you're looking for a trade or for a strategy that does not lose at all, which obviously does not exist, because you're trying to avoid risk. You're trying to avoid losing. And that doesn't work like that, guys. You change your system over a period of trades, over a long period of time, after you've observed the data from your journaling results. Let's get into AU. Let's not waste any more time. Yeah, I'll read the comments, guys. I'll read the comments just after we're done with AU, just so that we're not wasting too much time. There we go. Let's just do this. We're on AU, guys. So on AU, we're on a daily right now. And from a daily, what I just want to look at is just the most recent price action, because a lot of other things will give me a lot of other reasons to do a lot of different other things. But let's stick to what we want to do here. Look at the most recent price action and make a decision. So we're on the daily. What we do see is some sort of a descending structure, has very large swings, but nonetheless, we can observe the price action. We've got prices giving us a lower structure over there. Where's the next high to have been formed after this low? It's this high over here. Where's the next low to have been formed after that high? It's this low down here. Where's the next high to have been formed after this low? It's this high up here. So simple enough, we're just taking into account our extreme highs and our extreme lows. We've got our support trend line. We've got our resistance trend line. Conclusion being, we've got this descending structure, lower lows, lower highs, but we're doing so in a corrective manner because we've got support, prices broke below, broke back above. We've got new support, prices broke back below, broke back above. So obviously we can see that price action is corrective around these support structures. So now when we go down onto a 4-hour, we'll observe the nature in the price action. So nature in the price action, guys, what this price action does show us, obviously we can reference our previous biases and all of that nice good stuff. Let me just move my charts to the center. I just want to open it up like this. There we go. Now that our charts are here, we'll observe, obviously we see momentum to the downside. We see prices entering this corrective structure. This is our reasoning for having a bearish bias last week. We had this corrective structure, something like this: first touch, second touch, third touch, and then obviously the momentum to the downside. Nice break and retest for that continuation. All those nice, good, nice, simple structures. Textbook entry last week, guys. Textbook price action. Nonetheless, we've seen that prices have completed at the 90% rule of the structure. We have gotten here fairly impulsively. So obviously, if price action is impulsive to a level of structure where we're looking to do the opposite, we wait for that reversal structure. So as things stand now, what I do have is previous support, obviously, that can function as resistance. So we need to pay attention if price obviously comes up. Excuse me, if price makes its ascent in a corrective manner, then we'll switch our bias and obviously we'll continue the trend because prices haven't yet tapped into our support trend line over there. So obviously we still have the potential for prices to come back down and tap into the support. But as of right now, guys, because of higher time frame structure, I am going to be bullish bias. And what I will do for myself is exercise some patience and wait to see my reversal structure. So whether it's on a 1 hour, whether it's on a whatever time frame, we have some momentum to the downside. Obviously, we can see maybe prices might correct, might come to the downside, might be doing something, whatever the case is. And then you might find out that we might have a nice double bottom structure, higher time frame, double bottom, whatever the case is for our bullish bias. What we're going to do is we've got a bias, we've got points of interest being here at the support, and obviously being at our trend line. And what we need to do is wait for price action to come to our point of interest first, and then give us our entry criteria. So doesn't matter whether you've got a bullish bias, whether you've got a bearish bias. What matters is that you're waiting for the full criteria for your full setup to play out before you execute on that directional bias. Because yes, I know there's someone out there that has a bearish bias. We're all individuals, all trading different systems, different entry criteria, different this, different psychology, different that, different whatever. So ultimately, what makes the difference between you making money, losing money, and closing break even is obviously you need to have managed risk. So guys, that's what makes the difference. We don't care whether you have a bullish bias, whether you have a bearish bias. What matters is that obviously you wait for your system to give you the right reasons to press buy or to press sell. And as long as you enter based off those reasons, you have the statistics over a long period of time on your side. So what we're going to wait for, because I don't see any clear structures here. And guys, I don't force things. If I don't see it, I leave it, because obviously I'm trading with real money here. Am I going to make a stupid decision? Am I just going to go and give someone comes to me with a business and says that I'm going to sell whatever, I'm going to sell inflatables, swimming pool inflatables in the next 5 years, and I'm staying in Dubai in a desert area, or maybe I'm staying in the sub-Saharan Africa, or whatever the case is. Am I just going to just invest? Probably not. I will invest if I understand something, if I understand the risk that I'm taking, if I understand the reward that I'm taking, if I'm waiting for if I see that this business has potential to find clients, that's when I'm going to invest my money. So it should be the exact same thing, because ultimately you're trading with real money here. So you should be placing your money on something that you feel like, well, not rather that you feel like, something that your statistics obviously show you that you have a higher chance of making a return from taking this risk rather than not. And if you don't see anything, if nothing is clear to you, if it's confusing, you wait, because the more you wait, the more you give price action a time to play out. The more price action plays out, the more information you have on your chart to make a better decision at a later stage in time. So guys, patience. Nonetheless, let's move on. We go on to some Swiss yen. We'll start off on that higher time frame as well on the daily. Let me just follow up on the chats there just to see where we are. Needed to hear that. Shout out lovers there. Nice to see their lovers in the building. I see someone's asking for GJ. Just use some correlation there as we're looking at these JPY code pairs, because all of these JPY code pairs have got the same directional bias. So my assumption would be that other JPY code pairs have similar looking structure. Let's see, US30, please. Okay, we will look at US30. I don't have much going on there, but we will have a look at it. I see RCATS O saying, hi, just found this stream. What style of trading do you do? Day trading, intraday trading, swing trading, and then you're saying all the best there, man. So basically, I like to call myself a swing trader, but I'm a swing trader that ends up on the 1 minute time frame. So my process, or rather the way that I trade is very process driven. So what I'm trying to do with my process, no matter what time frame I'm trading, is I'm trying to trade the higher time frames. I'm trying to trade the highest time frame that I can possibly trade, whether it's a daily, whether it's a 4 hour, whether it's a 1 hour, whether it's a 5 minute. I'm trying to trade the highest time frame that I can possibly trade. So I do top-down analysis. I trade basically using structures, market structure. So looking at trends, those types of things, support and resistance, even chart patterns could be considered as market structure. And then obviously that's what I use to understand what's happening in the market. And then even my entry criteria and everything else is also based off market structure, which includes chart patterns, resistance, candlestick confirmation. So all the things that you find on YouTube. But I guess what makes our processes different, or what makes things different, is now the process that we use, because we all can use the same concepts, but the process that we use to get to a specific conclusion, to say that this is what I'm going to do at this specific time, might just be different. So I guess that's all that makes what I'm doing different, is just my own process as to how I execute or how I go about my process. That's kind of the only difference. Kutlana's asking, I see there, well, your charting seems solid, and I like the way you roll, you roll your R's. I didn't even notice that. Now you're gonna make me a little bit more self-conscious about how I speak. Oh yes, I see there. Kutlana is saying K. I see the Mpofu saying all the way from Limpopo. Nice to have you guys there, all the way from right across the road, man. You're in the country, you're right here. I see Tabisa saying charges. Oh, changes are great to protect your money. It's definitely true that the ultimate, we know that the only constant in existence is change. Everything changes over a period of time, but you need to be smart about how and when you change, because unfortunately the market is a thing. Like if you look at your chart is involved, or your chart is created by two things: price and time, which directly implies that timing in the market is important. Which means that also when you change, when you do this, that's also important, because you might find that like Funny Lucky was backtesting over the weekend. We were laughing at him, we were joking, it was a funny thing. We were saying that, oh, you were backtesting the first 4 trades that you took, they stopped, or they got stopped out, or whatever the case is. But that's only 4 trades, guys. That's only 4 trades. And what I'm trying to bring your mind to is this thing about timing and this thing about changing your thing. You might find that those 4 trades that he took in a time where the market was not conducive for what he was trading. And if he had traded over a larger sample size, like instead of taking those 4 trades, maybe took 10, you'd have realized that, okay, cool, those 4 trades that I took that were losses were the only 4 I was going to lose out of 10 trades, or whatever the case is. So also, timing is also a factor, and you might find out that the moment you change what you're doing is the time the market is shifting into a phase that's now conducive for what you're doing. So obviously, the longer you take to change something, the more data you will gather about that thing. Whether that data is showing you that the thing is not working, or whether that data is proving that it's a break-even strategy, or whether that data is proving that it's a profitable strategy, the longer you trade it, the more data you're going to get, the more solid that data will be. So take a long time. Be very slow to change what you're doing. Be very fast to observe. Be very slow to change. So yeah, I guess thanks for those advices. They're really helpful there from Mbekelezi. No problem. See Kutlana's giving us some 3 dots there. How many pips do you risk per trade? So it depends on the time frame that I'm entering in. So basically I define my trades by the amount of pips that I'm risking. So if I'm risking less than 10 pips, for me, that's a scalp. If I'm risking less than 15 pips, for me, that's a day trade. And if I'm risking more than 15 pips, for me, that's a swing trade. So it just depends on the time frame that I'm entering. Like I told you guys, I try and trade the higher time frames. So my entry timeframes are basically the 1 hour, the 15 minute, the 5 minute, and the 1 minute. But my key timeframes for directional bias and for points of interest are the daily for directional bias and the 4 hour for points of interest. So even if I'm trading on a 1 minute time frame, I still want to find that 1 minute trade at a 4 hour point of interest so that I have the potential to turn my scalp into a day trade, into a swing trade. So basically, I want to trade with the idea of maximizing. Like if I get a trade that's in a good direction, I want to make the most out of this trade because I don't know the statistics that are the next trade that I'm going to take in the future going to be all losing trades, or how that's, I don't know how I'm going to receive my statistics, which trades are going to be winners, which trades are going to be losers. So I try and manage my trades as best as I can. I try and cap risk as soon as I can. And then obviously when I do find a trade that's a runner, first of all, I want to make the most out of that trade. And the only way for me to make the most out of that trade is not to trade small swings. As much as I'm scalping, I don't want to trade a swing that I'm only going to find for the next 4 hours. I want to find a trade that I can turn into a day trade, a trade that's going to, even on a weekly time frame, you might find that one weekly candlestick is red and I found a sell on a Monday. I want to find those types of trades that I can be able to use to maximize on whatever reward market is going to gift me with. So nonetheless, let's get into some Swiss yen before I continue down with the comments there, just so that we're also making some progress on what we need to do. So on Swiss yen, guys, just basically looking at the structure. Yes, we want to be sell bias. I understand. I know. I have a higher time frame structure that warrants me to sell, and whatever the case is, let's just throw it out just so that we calm everyone that's saying, guys, how can you be looking for a bullish bias right now? Yes, I know that I've got this ascending structure over here on a daily time frame, and obviously this ascending structure warrants us to be looking for those short opportunities or whatever the case is. But nonetheless, okay, cool. This is the structure. We know that we higher time frame, maybe we should be looking for shorting opportunities. But if we look at just what's been happening here from a recent perspective on a daily is still trending nice and bullish. Yes, we are moving to the upside additionally correctively, but we're going to discuss that. So basically, we've got some resistance over there. Oh, geez, I took the wrong thing. So basically, we've got some resistance over there. Prices broke nice and impulsively. We've got new resistance there. Prices broke nice and impulsively, broken back below this level of structure. So indicating that corrective break of price action. But nonetheless, if we were to isolate a structure, obviously take into account our extreme highs and our extreme lows, what we will notice is how did prices break this support structure that we have over here. We broke nice and correctively. So showing us that momentum is not yet sell biased. That there's not a lot of sell side momentum as yet. Things might change. Things are always changing in the market, but that's why we need to be reactive and not predictive. But nonetheless, going into the daily structure, we obviously see things are still trending bullish. We see a corrective break of price action. We have prices coming towards previous resistance from a daily perspective that prices broke nice and impulsively. So we've got this nice red candlestick over there, which shows us that on a lower time, prices found resistance, found support, and then made that break, impulsive break to the upside. So when we drop down now onto a lower time frame, which is the 4 hour. I forgot my energy drink. Did I forget it? Okay, cool. I would have so loved to take a sip right now. But anyway, we'll just continue. Nonetheless, if we come down to a 4 hour, we'll observe some nature in the price action. Yes, we've got some momentum here, but we've got a nice support structure. Prices giving us some resistance. Where's the next low to have been formed? This low over here, obviously we see this low here is broken correctively, broken back above. We have a new low, broken correctively, broken back above. We have a new low, broken correctively, broken back above. So clearly, every lower low that's been formed in this descending structure has been formed in a corrective manner. What we do have here is a nice point of interest there, where this is where we want to be adding size. So obviously we want to add size at our point of interest. If we find any trades anywhere else, that's not where we want to add size, but obviously we do take the trade with a nice managed risk. So nonetheless, coming down into the structure here, we've got first touch, second touch. Obviously, we can see the potential of this price coming to give us a nice third touch of our structure at our point of interest, which is where we will add size if we do find a trading opportunity from there. Looking for a nice, beautiful long bias. Obviously, we have this nice corrective structure showing us deceleration. So we're expecting the descending structures break to the upside. So coming into that, let's just see if we've got something, because I know I've got something on a smaller time frame here. Ooh. We might have missed some entry. So basically we had a double bottom. I was on a 15-minute here. We had the potential. Oh, I think I was on a 5-minute. Okay, we violated this double bottom structure. I thought prices were going to give us a double bottom from here and come back and retest. But nonetheless, we've broken below and gave us a double bottom right down low over there. So I don't know. Let me see, what does this mean for me? Can I isolate any different structure? Okay, cool. So 55-minute doesn't look, it looks too choppy for me, so I wouldn't enter on a 5. as well as 15-minute. This price action on a small time doesn't look too clean for me to be able to want to look to do something. But nonetheless, I should tap into this sort of support here. Nonetheless, guys, what we will be waiting for, I guess, just because 15-minute doesn't look too clear for us to even enter at this area anyway. So let's just be patient and allow price action to give us a higher probability sell. Buy. Obviously, if we wait for price action to come down low, we get the opportunity of giving price action some time to develop. So we have more price data to make a decision of. What will we also have? We'll be buying down lower, which means better risk to reward ratio for us, depending on where our targets are and what size stop we will get. We will also get obviously better probabilities because we'll be at that touch at our support trend line, and as well as we'll be at this point of interest where we actually want to take the trade. So maybe in this case, it might just be helpful for us to just wait, exercise some patience on SUSIEN. Let's just see what AJ was looking like. Okay, AJ also requires some patience from us. So it looks like these JPY code pairs, as much as we've got a bullish bias, they both require a little bit of patience from us just to wait for price action to come into a proper area of value before we actually look for that nice trading opportunity. But nonetheless, bullish bias on SUSIEN. Let's go into the last pair that I've got on my watch list, which is New Zealand dollar CAD. New Zealand dollar CAD, for sure, patience. I'm going to tell you that before we even look at it. But nonetheless, guys, when this setup does present itself, it's going to be absolutely beautiful because there's a lot of momentum that's due to the upside here on New Zealand dollar CAD. But let me just check what's going on here in the chats. I see Tipis is asking, how long do you hold your trade? So like I was telling you, it basically just depends on my stop size. If I've got a stop that's below 10 pips, then I obviously expect to hold my trades for a couple of hours, maybe even just not going beyond the day. If my trade is less than 15 pips, then obviously I'm trying to look to close that trade out by the end of the day. But if my trade is more than 15 pips, then most likely the trade that I'm taking is a swing trade. And if it's a swing trade, then I'm holding for as long as the market has me in that trade. So there's no objective thing to say I hold this long or I hold that long, but it's for as long as the market keeps me in that position, because I might find a trade on a 1 minute, but to find you, I'm entering on a 1 minute with a 5 pip stop loss, but market consolidates for 3 hours after I've entered that trade. Can I control that situation? Probably not. So I just hold for as indefinitely as the market allows me to be in that trade. Yeah, like Warren Buffett always says, that the market is an environment that takes money out of the pockets of the impatient and puts money into the pockets of the patient. So whether that's patience in form of you waiting for your setup, whether that's patience from you in form of you being involved in the market, nonetheless, we can't control what price does after we enter that position. So I just wait. I try not to worry about things that I don't have control over, like how long I'm going to be in a position and all those things. It's not like I can control that on my own unless I'm breaking my trading rules, because by definition, my trading rules require me to react from what the market presents. So if the market presents something, then I make a decision. If the market doesn't present anything, then no decision is made unless it fulfills another criteria of mine, which is maybe if market doesn't make any progression after 6 to 12 candlesticks after I've entered, then I can make a decision like such or like such. Basically, I'm just following a plan. And if nothing from my plan presents itself in the market, I don't make a decision. Don't make a decision based off money to say that, oh, I'm at $5, now I'm going to close this trade or whatever. I don't make a decision. I make a decision based off what market is going to show me or what the chart is going to show me. Yeah, I see that was from Tepi. So I see RCats is saying, great, well, I look forward to seeing your process. Thanks. No stress, man. Them R's won't make you win or lose. Chill. That's so true. That's so true, eh? That's true. That's true. I see William there's William Matepela. Oh, Masesha. Sorry about that. I see William there saying, nice work, man. I like how you break down the pairs. Man, these are my pairs. These are my pairs, man. These are my pairs. I feel very comfortable and very confident to make to share directional biases on these pairs. I've been looking at them for so long, so I guess I'm better suited to make a decision on these pairs and to tell you guys my opinion, because I feel a lot more confident on these pairs. Yes, I can do my process on another pair, like for example, I can go look at GU and analyze GU top-down analysis or whatever, but I don't have that experiential knowledge of saying that I've been looking at GU for 2 years straight every single day. I don't have that. But on these pairs, I can tell you that for a fact, these are the pairs that I look at every single day from when? From beginning of what's this 2020, from beginning of 2021. Same pairs every single day. So there's Mamba in the building. I don't know what Mamba wants here. Mamba, what you want here, man?
And I hope he's talking about someone to interview. And he said he told you about it.
Yeah, can we talk about it just now? Let me just sort out my session there. No way, that's the rest. Oh, okay, cool. Mamba was here in the building. I see gorgeous furniture. Gorgeous furniture is asking, please tell us what are your 3 confirmations you check before entering a trade. So for my confirmations, my first confirmation on my entry time frame is me observing a chart pattern. Chart pattern will tell me where at my point of interest should I be looking for candlestick confirmation. My second confirmation is basically, what can I say? My second confirmation is candlestick confirmation. So I guess because I'm doing a process of top-down analysis, I have multiple confirmations as we drop down the time frames. Like for example, I have a directional bias from a higher time frame. I have a point of interest on a lower time frame, and I'm only looking to trade on an entry time frame when price is at my point of interest, my middle time frame point of interest. So you can think about those like confirmations, excuse me, that are basically stacking up. And my entry time frame is my last piece of confirmation, where I'm just waiting for a chart pattern to form, and I'm waiting for candlestick confirmation once that chart pattern has formed on my entry time frame. Those are basically my only confirmations. So the song that I sing, the song that I tell everyone is that I wait for market to create a level of structure, move away from the level of structure, come back, show me signs of rejection and momentum shift away from the level of structure. And that's my entry criteria. That's literally my entry process right there. I see Kahimu's asking GJ, please just use the correlation over there. I see thoughts on pound CAD. Pound CAD, yo, I don't know when last I looked at that, but I did analyze one CAD pair. Maybe you could use some correlation if the structure looks very similar. I see VOR.RED, I don't know what's that. What's your risk to reward? So I don't take a trade that has a risk to reward ratio less than 1:3. But if I'm entering on a lower time frame, like for example, the lower the time frame that I'm entering on, the more I understand that I'm going to be caught up with a lot of unnecessary noise. So the lower the time frame I'm entering on, the higher my risk to reward ratio will be, and the lower the risk I'm going to take on that trade. Obviously, depending on where the trade presents itself, am I at a point of interest? What are the probabilities on this trade and that kind of thing? Like I was showing you that, which pair was it? Yen. Like I was telling you guys on Yen, that we can take a trade where the price action is right now, but obviously we will add our size when price gets to the point of interest where we want to trade. Like we're observing some sort of a structure that might have been forming somewhere in and around here. Yes, we can take a trade there, but are we, if we normally risk 1% per position, are we going to risk 1% here? I'm probably not. I'm probably going to risk 0.2% or even 0.1% because that's not my point of interest. Nonetheless, if I've risked 0.1% and maybe another 1.1% and I got stopped out, now I know that I'm only risking 0.8% when price gets to my point of interest because I want to take 1% on this setup. Because it's still one setup that I'm taking. Yes, my entries might vary, my entries might differ on this setup, but I'm still taking one setup. The higher time frame price action is still the same. So I still want to risk 1% on this position. So I guess the lower the time frames, like I'm telling you, the lower the time frames, the higher the RR, obviously because there's potential of you getting stopped out more than once or whatever the case is. So I risk smaller and look for big RRs so that it still gives me the same reward in terms of dollar value or whatever the case is. Like maybe I might risk 0.1% and be looking to target 1:10, whatever the case is. And then you might find that if maybe I'm entering on a higher time frame, my stop loss is bigger. So maybe I'll be risking 0.3% to look for 1:3, still targeting or still looking for the exact same reward if the trade works out. So I try and balance my maths. There's a lot of ways that you guys can develop an edge. Sometimes edge is not based off how you enter. Sometimes edge is not based off your, I don't know, your analysis process. Sometimes edge is just, your edge could just be the way that you manage risk. Your edge could be the risk to reward ratios that you have on a trade. Your edge could be, yes, maybe your edge could be the technicals. Sometimes your edge could be patience, you not involving yourselves in a lot of unnecessary trades. There's a lot of things that can function towards your edge and make you a profitable trader. So I guess what it comes with is you actually taking the time to journal your trades and see which part of your system, or actually develop a trading plan to see which part of your system do you need to start tweaking when it's time to make those changes to how you're making your decision, or when it's time to make changes to your decision-making process, because that's ultimately what your trading plan is. The trading plan is you to say that this is how I conclude this type of a decision. This is the process that I will go through to conclude whatever decision I'm going to conclude at. So basically, you want to refine your decision-making process, make your decision-making process as simple as possible, but then also make your decision-making process more like make better decisions. So how do you make better decisions? Sometimes making a better decision is just saying that I'm going to tweak the way that I manage risk. When I'm taking a risk entry, hey guys, I don't know what Funny Lucky was doing there on that PC. He's busy looking at my YouTube channel. I don't know what he's doing on my YouTube channel. But anyway, sorry about that, guys. He's okay, cool. I think I just went and updated him now that he should just go back onto the Zoom. So the charts will be back in a while or whatever. But anyway, we'll just continue. Just give me 1 second, guys. Okay, cool, guys. Sorry about that. I'm back. If you had to ask me why he was using the PC, I have no idea, zero idea. But anyway, we'll just continue, do the things to be done. But nonetheless, I even forgot what I was talking about, guys. But anyway, we'll just move on with whatever we're doing. We're looking at New Zealand dollar CAD. So let's just start off on the daily. Okay, have a look at New Zealand dollar CAD quickly. Cool. So we're here on New Zealand dollar CAD, guys. We're here on New Zealand dollar CAD, and basically what we have here on New Zealand dollar CAD, we've got prices being somewhat corrective, but nonetheless, all of this higher time frame stuff, I don't really want to pay attention to. What I want to pay attention to is basically this most recent price action. In this most recent price action, guys, we've got this descending structure that we've been speaking about for the longest of time. And obviously, you guys can see that after this descending structure was violated, how did we violate this descending structure? We violated this descending structure with this piece of price action here that we can obviously conclude looks very similar, like we can isolate it as one piece of structure or one whatever it is. Let me just make sure. Because I can't hear sound on my side anymore. Let me just make sure that the sound is okay. Okay, cool. I was just making sure that the sound is still there, just so that I don't talk for like 10 hours and then you guys can't hear me, or whatever the case is. So anyway, we've got this first touch, second touch, third touch, and then we see price action breaking structure. So nonetheless, we go down onto a 4 hour and we observe the nature in the price action. And yes, we can see that prices broke in some sort of a channel, some sort of a descending channel, or whatever the case is, some down channel or downtrend or whatever you want to call it. But nonetheless, I'm concluding that price action is moving to the downside, consistently making those lower lows and lower highs. So yes, we are in some sort of a downtrend. Now, obviously, we have this 4 hour support here from a 4 hourly perspective. We've got this 4 hourly support right there. And we can see how prices have violated this most recent 4 hourly support. And obviously, we can see how prices violated the overall structure. So what I'm going to be doing here on New Zealand dollar CAD is I have a bullish bias based off how we're violating the structure. So basically, if prices come back into our structure, guys, we have some beautiful risk to reward ratio from these areas here for that long trading opportunity, especially if price action manages to break back into this descending structure and maybe even come and complete at the 90% rule of this overall descending structure that we've been seeing moving to the downside. So this is kind of like our very far in the distant future. This is kind of what we're looking at. But right now, what we can see is this nice, beautiful descending structure. Obviously, on a 1 hour time frame, we don't see much going on here. We don't see any nice, clear structures that we can use to isolate for a bearish bias. So what we're going to wait for, guys, is very simple. All we're waiting for is for momentum to the upside. Once we see, let me just delete this, all these drawings that we have here on this chart, because I don't want the drawings there. Cool. Once we see that momentum pushing to the upside and violating this downtrend that we see, obviously marked out by our resistance downtrend, at that stage in time, that is when we will begin to look for those reduced risk entries. We will also have the confluence of price breaking back above this previous support structure. And then obviously once prices break back above a previous support structure, we look for price action to come back and retest this previous support, obviously as support. And then we look for that continuation to the upside. So simple enough, guys, New Zealand dollar CAD, yes, I am exercising patience, and it looks like I'm not going to be trading today because a lot of my peers, besides maybe SOCN, looks like it's requiring us to to exercise some patience. So what we're going to do is we're going to exercise that patience, because when it does come, it's obviously going to be rewarding. We do know that from our statistics, from how we normally trade. So we'll wait for this price action to, first of all, violate this downtrend that we have going on here from a 4-hourly perspective. And once we have that, that's our first sign that now we look for our bullish criteria or our bullish bias setups. And once we see this momentum pushing to the upside, violating the structure, then we wait for that corrective structure for our confirmation to actually enter this trade. So simple enough, guys, New Zealand dollar CAD, bullish bias, waiting for price action to come and give us, first of all, waiting for price action to give us momentum, violate this 4-hour downtrend that we have here, and then we start to look for our entry criteria. So I guess in terms of the pairs that we needed to get through, we are 100% done. I see, let me just go through the questions here. Guys, I think I don't want to take too much time going through pairs and stuff like that. It's going to take a while. And I do have some other things to do at 11 o'clock, and I don't want to go over the time. So let me just use the last couple of seconds. Okay, New Zealand, someone asked for us to look at New Zealand dollar JPY. I'll just be very quick. New Zealand dollar JPY, support structures, they pay attention to how prices are reacting towards the support structure. We've got an expanding structure from a 4-hourly time frame. We've got some momentum breaking back above this support structure down there. So all I'm looking for is just for corrective price action to retest this previous support, give us a nice inverse head and shoulders, and I'm bullish bias on New Zealand dollar JPY. So someone asked us to look at New Zealand dollar JPY there. So we're not going to do the full top-down analysis. That's our quick bias on this pair. So let me just read through the chats. Just let me answer your guys' questions before we call it a session there. Okay, what's your risk to reward ratio? Yeah, I think we went through that question. I see Tando Velile is asking, how do you control your emotions? So I don't control my emotions. I just observe them. I just look at them from afar. I try and put distance in between me and them, but I just look at them from afar. What helps is me having a plan and having a system. If you've got a plan, then no matter what you're feeling, no matter how the emotions are killing you, no matter what the emotions are saying, oh, I feel like I should do this, I should do that, no matter what, if you do have a plan, your emotions will have a lower volume, because now your decision-making process is not based off what you're thinking. Is not something that you're actively thinking about, okay, now I need to make this decision, or now I need to make this decision. Your decisions are predefined. You know that when the market does this, then I will do this. When the market does that, then I will do that. If the market hasn't done any one of those things, then I shouldn't be making any decision at all. So basically having a plan is the first step to anyone, I guess, basically having an opportunity to observe their emotions and all of that stuff. And then I guess, yeah, having a plan, when you execute your plan, you start to become more aware of your emotions. You start to see, like I always tell Jabu and some of the other traders, like maybe when they're telling me they're feeling such and such a way, like maybe someone is saying, oh, shit, this trade left me, it missed my limit order by such and such amount of pips and whatever, this is how I'm feeling. I always tell them, like, yeah, have fun, feel where that feeling is coming from. Is it coming from in your chest? Is it coming from in your head? Does it come from in your stomach? Be aware of where that feeling is coming from, so that the next time that feeling comes, you can see it from afar. Like now when I'm feeling FOMO, I say, oh, hey, FOMO, there's FOMO coming. FOMO feels like it's coming from somewhere just below my lungs, somewhere in there, just below my lungs. When I start to feel FOMO and I want to make a decision, that's where I start to feel it. So now I know when my FOMO is coming. I know when this is coming. I know when that is coming. And the difference is now, do I actually make a decision based off how I feel, or do I just snap out of it, separate myself from how I'm feeling, and then make a decision based off my reason and my logic, or based off my plan. And what helps is you first acknowledging that this feeling or this emotion is there. Because like what happens, the reason why we feel like an emotion or whatever is a problem is because we realize it after the fact. After we've made a decision based off how we feel, that's when we realize it, and that's already obviously too late. And so what helps is just developing a sense of awareness to observe these feelings and emotions before they cause you to make a decision. And that way you get to think about what you're going to do before your emotions obviously force you into a decision prematurely. I see there Kahimo is asking for GJ. We won't look at any other pairs, dude. I see there Kahimo saying thanks, bro. What do you think about NAS and US30? I'm just expecting US30 to now maybe move to the upside. I've got some sort of an expanding structure. I was hoping for more downside, but it doesn't look like price wants to do that, because we're seeing some nice momentum to the upside from a 4-hour, from a daily. And also we had this larger expanding structure over here. We had this expanding structure. Let me get this tool. We had this expanding structure there, and you guys can see that we've been corrective around this expanding structure. We broke below, or rather we wicked below. We didn't actually break and have a nice break and close below. So that's kind of why I'm expecting maybe some bullishness from here. But me, I would like to see something like this as far as it can go. As far as it can go, I would love to see this happen as far as it can go. Even if it comes, guys, look at where I am, I'm at 0. Even if it comes down to 0, I would hope for something like that, because me, I want to change my life. I want to start investing now. I want to start investing into the stock market, like for long term. So I want an opportunity to buy low. So I would hope that there's something big coming on. But for now, in terms of based off my technical analysis, I do see some potential for obviously prices maybe to make that move to the upside. Yes, take into account we are still below previous support that can function as a resistance from a daily. So that's kind of why I'm kind of hanging 10 on US30 for now, because where price action is, it's giving both buyers and sellers a lot of reasons to jump into trades in both directions. So that's why there's a lot of volatility chopping up and down. So I'll wait for things to kind of just maybe stabilize, or I'll wait for something nice and clear, nice and objective that I can clearly see on my chart before I make a decision. Yeah. Can we look at AUDJPY? We won't be looking at any pairs now. It's a little bit too late. Can we check NASDAQ? No, we won't be looking at any pairs now. It's a bit too late. Thanks to Mamba. Now I'll follow you on your YouTube channel and subscribe. I want to know what this guy was doing on my YouTube channel. But yeah, guys, the YouTube channel is very simple. If you guys haven't found me, it's just search t.main. So my normal name, that's what I am everywhere on every social. T-main is for me on YouTube. It's for me on Instagram, wherever you guys are following, if you guys want to follow and just see what else I'm doing and whatever. When I go live on Instagram and maybe I'm doing an update of a pair of something that I'm looking for during the day, you guys can follow on Instagram to catch those other lives. I think I would appreciate it on my side. Gorgeous furniture. I see Kutlana saying so NASDAQ could possibly drop. I would hope that it does. I would really hope that it does. There's like a lot of I guess maybe I've said it before. I don't wanna drum it over and over and over and over, like I'm trying to push an agenda and make people convinced that there's a crash coming. We've said it before. I've given my reasons on why I think something weird is going to happen. And obviously now we just need to wait for price action to confirm that. So already we've seen price action breaking some lows, some lows from last year, some September lows. So obviously, yeah, something is happening, and we just, I guess, just need to wait for that continuation to the downside, or indication that prices are going to drop further. Sewell saying, how many times should you retest the price? How many times should you retest the price? I'm not sure what you mean by retest the price. I'm not sure what you mean by retest the price, man. There's a couple of ways that I could answer this question just based off what you mean. I see Tepo saying you skipped my question on NFP. Let me just go there up there, Tepo. Oh, what additional advice would you give, given that it's NFP week, to manage trades better? So I guess on Friday I won't be trading because it's NFP, or I won't be trading close to NFP. And that's just about it. Like in terms of news, I don't use news to make a decision. I use news to protect my own statistics. That's kind of what I use news for. So I won't be making a decision based off NFP. I won't be trading NFP. But now that I came down to a lower time frame, I'm seeing a potential sell. So I think if I do want to sell US30, I think I'll want to sell US30 by the time US30 comes to this resistance area. I don't know what made me just see what's going on a 4 hour here. Let's delete this. I can see what's cooking on a 4 hour. Cool. So from a 4 hour, I can just see that, yes, we are moving to the upside, but we're also doing so. As much as we're moving down correctively, we're also moving up correctively. And I just saw the structure on a daily that I kind of maybe just want to have there on my charts. So maybe this is the first structure that we can start to see for our probabilities to start to come into play. And we could wait for price action to come and terminate at this point of interest up there, at this 4 hourly point of interest. And this is basically an area where if prices do, we'll basically be looking for that reversal structure from somewhere in and around here for that for some downside momentum. So we'll see how price action basically gives us the structure. But nonetheless, I've got a point of interest here that I just observed from a 4 hourly perspective. So I'm looking at where did a bunch of sellers come into the market. A bunch of sellers came in from here. Nice big bearish engulfing. So obviously chances that prices react from this area are higher than prices reacting from any other area, be it that support, be it this resistance, be it this resistance. Here we see a crap ton of sellers coming into the market from there. So kind of that's what I want to use, or that's what I'd like to use as a nice point of interest when you short side on US30. Yeah, so NFP doesn't really give me any advice. Yeah, I think we're done with the questions, guys. I think we're done with the questions. The last question was Sepa's question. Otherwise, guys, let me love and leave you guys. Let me love and leave you guys. I do need to be somewhere at 11 a.m. I've got a commitment, so I'm trying to cut it short before 11 a.m. But otherwise, guys, thanks so much for being part of the session. Do appreciate you guys taking your guys' time and listening to me yap for about an hour. But otherwise, guys, thanks so much, guys. Please do follow me on the socials if you guys maybe want to have an additional conversation or whatever the case is. Follow me on Instagram at t_main.sa. And then as well, I've got a YouTube channel, t.main. Yeah, guys, let there be peace in the streets. Let there be peace in the streets. Shout out to you guys that were here. Let there be peace in the streets. Let our brothers and sisters be safe. I'll stop sharing some screen and then I'll go ahead and end the session. Thanks so much.